All right, well, good morning once again, guys. For the people that are in the class or in the room, and then for those online, my name is Tony Montemurno. For those that don't know me, I did not grow up as a scout as a kid. I learned as I went with my kids, and so when it comes to popcorn, same principle. You know, I learned a lot of things over the years. I've been doing popcorn kernel for I don't know, about 5 or 6 years now, and try to learn something more every year, and just try to make it better as we go. So, welcome to the popcorn 2021 season. So one of the things we're trying to put out and make sure you guys know is your district colonel, who they are and how you can contact them. I'm the Princess Anne district colonel, and then you got up there on the slide you can see everybody's names. And then the council lead is Pam, and then Allison does all the executive level stuff. Okay, so why do we want to sell popcorn? Well, the obvious thing is we want to raise money for the unit. Okay, helps us pay for all that stuff. Buy the stuff that you budget for. We're not going to talk about a budget at the training, but I will stress you have to have one. Everybody should have some sort of a goal, and that goal should be based off of the budget that you guys set, based on the things that the unit's trying to do for the year. But more importantly, or just as importantly, it gives the scouts or the kids some people skills, right? Because they're out there selling and they're talking to people and they're learning how to raise money and they're learning, all these different skills that they can put in their toolbox. And selling popcorn also helps with advancement. So there's, I believe it's on the EK, or it's on the Tidewater site somewhere, where there's a list of advancements that they can earn, whether at the cub level or the troop level. Or it's in the guide. It's in the popcorn 2021 guide, and that's online now, right, Pam or Allison?
It is, yes.
All right, and you get cool prizes. Okay, stomp rockets. You look good in uniform, hopefully, and you can attract other cool kids to join Scouts too. So that's, with that number 7 there, one of the things that you can do while you're out selling, especially for the show and sells, is bring your recruiting literature with you. Bring some information about your unit, because you never know if you're going to run into a kid. You don't have to go out there and actively recruit, but you're going to get kids that might be interested. Or if you want to recruit, sure, feel free. You can have your kids do that and then earn their recruiting badge. So hopefully, I don't know the crowd, whether you guys are seasoned, no pun intended, popcorn kernels, or you're just plain. But so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, this is really for everyone, and I don't want anybody to feel like there's any questions that are too dumb to ask, because anything that we can do to help you guys be better, that's what we want to do. Okay, so how do you get started? Well, you select your colonel first, and you can set up a popcorn team if you've got a big enough unit and you need extra people. So feel free to set up a team. You can have people that are picking up product, or helping with money, or helping set up show and sells, whatever it is you want to do. So call and book your show and sell locations. You should be actively working on that now. My advice is always if you haven't done it already, talk to the parents in your unit. And so we had a parent that worked at the NEX. We had a parent that worked at Walmart, and we were able to get, hooked up with those locations, right, without us having to do any work. When they went to work, they just asked, or they submitted paperwork, whatever they had to do. So we had another mom that set us up at a movie theater, and the only stipulation there was we couldn't sell ready-to-eat popcorn. We could only sell microwave. But it was a kind of a weird place to sell, or not a normal place, but it worked out pretty well. So, sometimes the hardest part is getting out there and getting these sites to do show and sells. Right. So if you have people that are already out there working in some of these stores or these businesses, utilize them and let them do some of that work for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the council help us set up these show and sells? Or is it all on our own? Each pack has to is spending for themselves.
Yeah. So right now, we want you guys to do that on your own. Right. Last year, and we are going to set up some. We'll talk about that in a minute. But and Pam and I are in this area. We're out and about trying to find some of these places. some new places to go to, but if you went last year, go back to those same places you went to last year. If you did show and sells last year. And if you need help setting show and sells up, we'll talk. We can talk, okay?
Need help.
Okay.
Okay, good to know.
What unit are you
628.
in? So that'd be Bayside.
Okay. You want me to move forward?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay, where was I here? Okay, register as a popcorn kernel on the Pecatonica site. Okay, PR, I think it's prpopcorn.com or something like that, but that's all, I believe that's all in the popcorn guide. So you're gonna register as a kernel with your unit. If you registered last year, your access is no good anymore. They reset it every year, so you have to go in there and reset your re-register. And then when you get in there and set up your account, you're going to register all the kids for online sales. I always like to just when I did it at the PAC, I always told the parents, I said, look, does anybody not want their kid online, right? So I don't like putting kids' information out there, even though it's only just their email address and the kid's name. I always ask. So, make any kids that have left the unit, make them inactive. There's a little block you can check to make them inactive. But basically, you want to get the kids registered to do online sales, because that is part of how you make some money. If you're not already signed up for the electronic knapsack, do that, and the Tidewater Council Kernel Facebook page. So when it comes to Facebook, I know there's the people that don't want to be on Facebook. I recommend, even if you are not on Facebook, set up an account on the Kernel Facebook page, because it's a great tool to use. It's real-time stuff, right? So if you have extra product that you're trying to unload, you can put it out there to everybody and say, hey, look, I got a whole lot of pretzels, who come get them, or you get some of those big items like the chocolate lovers and the cheese lovers. And if you were on it last year, you'll know that there was stuff flying around all over the place. And I drove out to Chesapeake to pick up something I needed. So it works. It's a great tool. And that Facebook page, about 2 or 3 years ago, there was somebody in the popcorn class that suggested we do something like that, and it's worked out really well ever since.
And also, the Facebook page is good for if all of a sudden you realize that you're not going to be able to fulfill your show and sell location for that day or the next day. Just put out there, I've got a show and sell location from this time to this time. Can anybody go ahead and take this from me? Don't put out where it's at and what time, because you'll have 5 units converging upon it at once. Yeah. You need to hand that out privately to the unit, and then once you do that, just go ahead and either say this show and sell has been filled, or just take it off the website, but that's just a good way. Instead of leaving something open, instead of leaving something open, try to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's good for for our image as scouts or scouting. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do sales the same way we did last year, where we're gonna do the incremental orders. So mid-July, and by the way, those dates are in your popcorn handout, right? So there's some information that's in there that's not on here. We're not giving you all the details. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and bore you, but we're doing that for a reason, because we want you guys to get in there and look at that guide. Okay, so basically mid-month, I think, is when it really happens for all the sales. Same thing as last year. The 4th order is going to be done. Not sales, the orders. Sorry, the 4th order will be done and paid for up front, just like last year. So if you come and help unload, especially for the first one, you can get your product as soon as you're done. And again, read that popcorn book, and it's on the Tidewater Council webpage. Okay, any questions so far? Yes, sir.
What's the earliest date that we can submit our first order on?
July 21st.
That's a good question.
That's the deadline. July 21st is the deadline. I will check and see. I'll talk to Pecatonica about that. Make sure that's open.
Yeah, have you gone on and registered? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I registered too, but I didn't try to order anything yet.
I just tried to order it.
You can't. Okay. Yeah.
I'll ask him to open it up. We'll let you know.
Okay, so the deadlines again. They're in the popcorn book. Okay. But again, just like last year, you're going to pre-order. Okay, and if you've got a lot left over, don't order a lot more, okay? Again, if you want to unload stuff, you can get on that Facebook page and see if anybody else needs anything, and trade. And then supplement your stash in between orders. Okay. Oh, wait, there's more. Thought it was over. The pain continues. All right. So this year, the great thing, one of the things we did last year was we looked at we took surveys in from you guys, and one of the things that's always bothered me is that donations never counted towards prizes, right? Because taking donations and you're going to buy popcorn with us, why not? So that's something new this year. Okay, but so the example, right? If your scout sells $600 and has 150 in donations, he qualifies for that $750 prize. Okay. So when you, so like last year, when you went on and you used the, I don't know what, huh?
Scout box.
Was it Scout Boss to get the prizes?
There were two different ones.
Yeah, so when you went online and fill out your prize, there's going to be a little donation block this time too, along with your sales amount. So just remember that if you're submitting the prizes, you got to have both the donations and it's got to add up. Okay. You can't have $600 in sales and go for the $750 prize. You got to put that donation in that block as well. Okay. Any questions on that? Everybody online good?
No questions online.
You got it? Okay. Okay, so what are the prizes? So $50 patch like last year. So as a recommend, we threw a few unit incentive recommendations in here too for some of those kids that maybe can't get to that $400 for whatever reason, or they can't get to those different tiers. Just put something in between, and that's for you guys to determine on your own based on how your unit's doing. But just something to keep motivated. So a $250 unit incentive, and all this stuff gets budgeted into your budget. Okay. We got that other $400 mystery prize like we did last year. We're working on some stuff, I think, still. Right.
We have something in the works. It is not a stomp rocket, unless you really want one, and then I can probably find one for you.
We've got an air zinger, which I think is like a bow and arrow type thing, if I'm not mistaken, right? Those went they went away last year pretty quickly. And then again, a unit incentive or recommendation at $1,000 level. Same thing last year, $1,250 and $1,700. You get the $35 and a $50 Amazon card. And then something new for this year, the winner circle is the first prize is $2,500. Okay, and then instead of last year where you get 20 to 25 or the 4,000, every 2,500, the kid's going to get another prize. He gets to pick from that winner circle or the gift card. So I think there's an example on the next page.
Tony, there is one question online. When they collect money at a show and sell for donations, that they can divide it amongst the scouts to earn prizes.
Yeah, so that's something that is that a question or is that a statement?
It was a question, but
Okay.
I'm saying it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so we brought this up a little bit at the 101 training just to give new colonels an idea. So it just depends if you want to how you split up your show and sells. If you do it for the entire day, take the entire total, divide it by the amount of scouts, and everybody gets an even share, or if you want to do it based on the hour. But yes, donations at show and sells get divided up as well. And I always recommend that you, as a colonel, what I did was I sent the email out to the parents that were there of the kids, right? Because what happens is somebody's got to track this stuff, and when you get up to that high level, that winner circle, you got to submit a copy of your order form. So make sure that all those show and sells are listed as line items on your order form. Okay, just like if you have a person that's going to buy popcorn, you put their name and address, put show and sell date, and put the amount of sales I always put the sales in the right hand column, and then whatever donations the kid got, I put that in there as well, just to help keep track. Okay, so getting back to the donations. So getting back to that high level prizes. If the scout sells or receives donations equaling $10,000, they get all four, or they get the lower tier prizes and then 4 of the top tier prizes.
We expect this year with the donations going towards prizes, the kids are going to go up. So this is just a great way to just keep rewarding them, do with
Okay.
that.
Okay, but wait,
There's more.
okay. This isn't exciting as you talk about it. The more you talk about it, the less exciting it becomes. Sorry.
We've been talking about this
Sorry
since
for my lack
March.
of enthusiasm. It's raining and it's Saturday.
What?
Why don't you stand on the side that's got the light?
Okay, Andrew, make a rocket sound. There you go, after sale. All right.
Okay, so we are gonna have an after sale this year, okay? And how do I get in on that? Let's see. Okay, to qualify, we got to attend popcorn training.
You qualified for that already today.
So we're,
We
here
got
we are.
3 people, 4 people.
No,
Calm down, Andrew.
You're just
if
an
you did
overachiever.
not- For the people here in the room, if you did not sign in when you came in, there's a sheet on the table over there, so make sure you sign that, so you get credit for being here today.
Okay, so, and for those that can't make it, because I tell you, there's, 2 days, there's times back in a couple years back when I was colonel and that both days were no good for me. So if you can't make the training, and obviously I'm not talking to anybody particular, well, because if they're not here, they're not here, they don't know. So, but.
What are you doing, man?
I'm rambling. So basically you get with your district colonel, for those that can't make it, and we'll discuss issues, we'll discuss the training with you.
We're
Okay.
also recording the training and we're gonna post it, so if you're talking to other units that didn't attend training, just let them know to get up with their district colonel.
So for the future units that are listening to this online, just get with your district colonel and we'll set you straight. Okay, you guys are gonna set your sales goal. Okay, we're not gonna do that for you. But one of the things you gotta do is you're gonna have to discuss that sales goal with the district colonel, okay? So you wanna meet or exceed that sales goal. And then pay on time throughout the season and make the final payment by November 1st. And return all your product by November 1st.
So when we say pay invoices on time, that's every 30 days an invoice is due. We're not asking for you to pay, 100% of it. It's whatever you owe council. Okay. So, and the reason why we ask that is because we have a bill with Pecatonica. It's not that we're trying to be mean, but we do have a bill that we need to go ahead and pay so we don't get penalized for that.
So they let us order more. to fill
Yes,
your next
exactly.
order.
Exactly. So that's why we have the 30-day.
And then you're in the after sale. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay,
Anything there?
I think you've got more to tell me about what that is.
yeah, I think so too. I think it's coming up here. Okay, so why do I want to even be in this after sale? Well, let me tell you. Okay, so this is where the council's gonna have show and sell locations set up. And then, last year we put out a two-week window, and you sign up for the ones you want and just go out there and sell. Okay? And so the goal with this is to help unload the excess popcorn that we have at the end of the season. Okay.
Why would we have excess popcorn?
Why do we have excess popcorn? Well, we have excess popcorn because people couldn't sell it, right? Last year was a crazy year because there's a whole lot of new things, right? There was COVID. There was a different way of doing business. We weren't just going to order a crap load up front and just hand it out. So there's a lot of I guess lessons to learn last year. But at the end of the season last year, we ended up getting $120,000 worth of popcorn returned. Right. So look, this is Tony talking, right? These guys the council makes money off the popcorn we sell too. Right. So if they're not making the money on the popcorn, they're going to get the money out of our pocket some other way. So the goal is to get rid of that popcorn. And that's what we ended up doing last year. But I'm going to tell you too that look, at November 1st, I don't want to see another can of popcorn, for the next few months. So that's the incentive, right? The incentive is in return, you're going to get 50% of the commission vice 40.
So the popcorn doesn't get returned to Pecatonica?
No.
At all?
So popcorn. So this kind of caught me off guard a little bit because I know. Look, as you move up, I guess you tend to know more things and you kind of forget what it's like for the guys starting out. But when we hear you get to return popcorn, some people think that popcorn goes back to the company. It doesn't. What Tidewater Council buys, they own it. Okay, so if we don't sell it, we can't return it to the store, to the company, we got to sell it. All right. So any questions?
And
Okay.
basically, the sales that you've done pay for that inventory that sits here rather than goes into the coffers that support the council.
Mhm.
So the council strikes a check for whatever's sitting here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
It expired.
and online sales do remain at 30%.
Okay, ready?
So what else is new this year? Let me tell you, Trio, the Trio and the Cheese Lovers are going to be returnable until September 22nd.
Make the noise.
Yay!
Yay! Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah.
This is gonna be.
So look, for those that are leery about ordering this stuff up front, because it's not returnable, it's only till September 22nd, which is about, I guess, halfway through, maybe even, yeah, about halfway through. Order it. I mean, you know, put it on your, especially if you're planning on doing show and sells, that stuff does sell.
Mm-hmm.
I think our unit sold 6, I don't have the numbers anymore, it's 6 chocolate lovers and probably like 10 or 15 cheese lovers, so it sells. And again, getting back to the Facebook page, if you have excess or you need some, great, I'm telling you, it's a great tool to utilize, okay? You'll get rid of it. So a couple changes, peanut butter cup is now larger. It's available in the tin for $25, vice the $15 plastic bucket. But jalapeno and cheddar went to plastic. That's kind of a boo, but it's not, there's no boo up there, but that's a boo. Because I think a lot of people like the tins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason Pecatonica made that choice was because otherwise they would have raised the price on it. They didn't have a way to keep the price constant and keep it in a tin.
What about cherry cheese?
Not
We're not
here.
gonna have cherry
Hooray.
cheesecake this year.
No, it was bad fresh.
Oh, no.
Are there any
It was.
special ones like that this year?
No, they're not.
We tried.
Yeah, no experiment.
So the backstory to this is Pecatonica had a set amount of clients last year. Things didn't go so well for trails and a lot of clients are now coming over. So they're giving them a more limited selection than what we have. So we didn't feel like we could go ahead and ask for something extra over and above because we already had way more than the other new units coming on or new councils coming on. So pretty.
Yeah, however, Buffalo Ranch is not here, and I'm a little sad
No,
about that.
so we did actually ask about Buffalo Ranch,
Mhm,
and
we
they are
tried.
not making a full-size Buffalo Ranch container for anybody this year.
But I think you can get it online. And it's in the trio, I think, is or the
It's in
It
the
cheese
is in the
lovers.
cheese lovers.
Yeah.
And in the popcorn book, there's also a list of what you can get in the online sale. It is the same as last year.
We get white ruby.
Yeah, and so if you know, I tell you, if you really look at some of the prices, the bigger cans are a better deal based on what you get. So you use that as a selling point if you want to. So this year you can return 10% of your total retail checkout. There's a yay by that.
Yay!
However, anything over that 10% that you can return is going to incur a $10% restocking fee. Okay.
This is to encourage units to go ahead and trade.
We gotta find a new unit that doesn't do better qualify.
You want this.
That is not nice.
Just kidding.
But monitoring your inventory is really important,
Mhm.
and it keeps people from checking out way more than they're ever.
And if you don't know, ask your district colonel. They're not going to lead you astray. They definitely want to make sure you're successful. Tony may have information that somebody has, 2 cases of jalapeno, and then here's another unit that needs some, and he can go ahead and network, connect you with that unit. So please use them as your resource. Okay.
Yeah. So the stuff that you trade, right? And the way that works real quick for those that haven't done it before is that you get up with another colonel, you get their email address, you send Allison an email, CC the other colonel, and then the other colonel's okays it. Yes, let's trade. We're going to swap. And that is not considered a return.
It is not.
Okay, that doesn't go into that 10% return. That's just a freebie. But the other,
colonel that's getting it has to get.
but the colonel that
that other colonel.
right, if the colonel that gets it, that now counts as if they don't sell it, that's their return. That's on them now to sell.
You do not have to pay the other colonel. We can swap it in your inventory
Mhm.
for you. So your invoices will both be correct and we will not count it as a return.
So networking is the way to go
So
with
it's,
your product,
it's an
okay?
easy process, yeah. It's really, really easy.
Definitely make sure Allison is CC, because she's the one that could go in and adjust the inventories.
Yeah, Allison, the email has to go to Allison, yeah. And then, and Allison has to hear from both sides, both parties. Because if I say, hey, I'm gonna
Are you
give,
teaching me that
you know,
this
Troop
year?
600 all my popcorn,
Are you teaching me that
you
this
know, Allison can't just shift it all over to 600 and 600 says, what do you mean? I didn't ask for this stuff. So, okay. So again, we're not able to return product to Pecatonic, got a little thing at the bottom. But we, you know, Tidewater Council's got a 40% commission. That's one of the highest in the country. I think the standard is like mid-30s. So in order to keep that, we got to manage our inventory. Okay. Okay, so if you haven't picked up on it, one of the things we want you guys to do is communicate with your district colonels, okay, or communicate with Allison or Pam or whoever you need to talk to. And you know, the bottom line is, like somebody said over here, we're managing your inventory. Okay. So, and like I said earlier, when you guys are successful, the council's successful. So. All right. Okay. Anybody have any questions? If you reach down at the very front of your chair, you see a little paper hanging there. Grab that little.
Is there any questions online?
Just how do they know who their colonel is? And it's on the last page of the popcorn guide here.
In the
Is-
very back.
They'll have
Very-
hats on that identify them. If they put them.
Oh, was I supposed to wear mine?
Yes. Work hard on that.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that screen up.
Thank
Okay,
you, Andrew.
all right.
So yeah, so you got to know what district you're in, and then
Okay,
get a hold of that person.
here's that.